What's up, guys? So my prediction in my previous video, I broke down the Amir Khan versus Terence Crawford fight. As you know, if you follow this channel, not too many people are following this channel. It's not monetized, and YouTube does not push it in the algorithm for obvious reasons, because it's not monetized. And also, I don't post a lot on it. So anyway, yeah, I broke it down. I think I said everything that had to be said going into the fight, unlike a lot of these fake boxing experts. And I mentioned that a lot of hoopla surrounding this fight was just unwarranted. How are you going to have a pay-per-view fight? That's what the video was about, basically, telling you it was a joke fight. I told you why. I gave you reasons why. I reinforced and backed up my opinion with facts, and I think it all came true. Basically, Amir Khan quit in the fight. Let's be honest, he quit. If you watch boxing, he quit. He straight up quit. And on top of that, I think there was some type of weird interaction. I haven't really went through any of the headlines press-wise, but I'm doing that now. I just loaded Amir Khan quits on Google, so you're getting my fresh thoughts right now on the aftermath of this fight. I honestly thought the interaction was strange, and I think Amir Khan's corner, or maybe himself, kind of thought maybe because it was a low blow, unintentional low blow, obviously, in a fight where he was being dominated. He was on his way to get knocked out. And I think that they kind of thought maybe they were going to do old school Terry Norris. I think it was Terry Norris, if you look it up, where he was, I'm doing this off the top of my head, I think a guy named Santana. I was watching this as a kid. It's crazy. But I think it happened once or twice where the guy got Terry Norris's title. From my memory, it's Terry Norris. I could be wrong on this. And I think Carlos Santana or Santana had got a title just by going down on a legal foul and got the title. So I think maybe Amir Khan or his corner people were like maybe going, you know, you're getting beat, quit. Just that weird interaction took place. And that's one of the theories I have going on, that maybe he thought he was going to lift that title on a DQ. Yeah, right. So I told you the shady state of boxing. Boxing is always shady. It's getting a little bit better as far as fights go. We just have a lot of platforms now showing fights at once. But at the same time, on the same night, is not cool. A lot of that's going on. Why do we have to sit back 2 to 3 weeks to watch 2 or 3 or 4 fights on the same day? Who can keep up with that nonsense? They should look at the schedules and spread these fights out and have a week where they have a Crawford fight, a Khan, and maybe like they had the other fights going on Fox, the PBC. It's just too much on one day, in my opinion. And boxing needs to become more mainstream, but they're not going to do it like this. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. And it's just kind of weird, like I said, how, I guess it's all about money. Yeah, of course it is. How that they can dupe the public, bamboozle people into buying a pay-per-view like Amir Khan versus Crawford on a pay-per-view event. It's just unbelievable that they can sell that fight. I wonder how it does in the numbers, or did. And you got Roy Jones Jr. popped up here in the Google search. Amir Khan should apologize for quitting. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of funny. Like, the guy's trying to say he didn't quit. Yeah, that's a no mas, classic no mas. And that's what you go into the sport for, to see guys like at the top of their game and they fight through broken jaws. We expect a lot from boxers. We do. It's kind of unfair in a way, but they put themselves in these positions where so much money is involved, and so many people went to the Garden on that night to watch a guy quit. He could have continued, and he knew he was going to get knocked out, and he just said, you know what, I quit. Never can he come back, I think, in my opinion, and get the credibility back. Once a fighter quits like that, how are you going to put money to him? It was good enough that he got that title. He was lucky enough to get a title shot like that on a pay-per-view and get that opportunity against someone he shouldn't have been in the ring with, in my opinion, to begin with. And you look, it came true. Everything I said in the previous video happened before the fight. A lot of these guys, these fake boxing experts, these writers, they really don't know much about boxing. A lot of them don't. It's just the truth. They just write about this and that. They're front runners. They don't really have that talent. It takes a talent to see the future and to get consistently right fights over the years and predict them right, like I believe I have. Of course, you're not going to be right all the time, but I think I'm right a lot in a lot of big fight cases. It's all here. It's all showcased on this channel. You're not going to be right all the time. Like Crawford versus Spence Jr., that's the fight I've been talking about before the Khan fight. I said that should have been the pay-per-view. Amir Khan should have been the tune-up. guy was on his way out. Close in age, but shop worn. It was basically over for him. I said that before. Like, I got to keep saying that again. Hindsight's 2020. I said this all before the Khan fight took place. You get a lot of these guys after the fight, then they tell you what I said before the fight. Does that make any sense? They're telling you the obvious. They're stating the obvious after the fight. Now, what I bring to the table is I do kind of have that talent where I can see who's going to win fights a lot of the time before the fight takes place. And I did place a big bet many years ago in Vegas. I got to share that story again, where I went to the front desk and I said, hey, I think this guy's going to win the fight because he just lost and he was the favorite. And a guy looked at me and said, why should I bet on this guy? You don't know now. Who are you to tell me? I said, I'm just saying he's going to win. And then after the fight, I got the big bet. The odds were the underdog's going to win. The underdog I bet on, I said he's going to win. Then the same guy looked over at me. He said, you should have told me. I said, I told you before the fight, but I didn't know you knew boxing like that. You should have told me. He was so mad that he didn't listen to me before the fight. But anyway, I rarely bet on boxing. I don't make wagers like that because it's gambling. It's just at this, now it's legal in New York State. Before I had to go to Europe and make these bets, whatever. The obvious bet, if you were going to bet on anything, I don't condone gambling. I'm not giving anybody advice. But if you were going to bet on a fight, it was Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. I even think on this channel, I said you should bet your life savings if you're going to bet on Floyd winning that fight. Because you'd have to bet a lot of money to get a small amount back. So the more you bet, the odds were so in favor of Floyd winning that fight. But anyway, I'm off track here. So going back to this fight, everything I said happened. Basically, he shouldn't have been in there with Crawford. It should not have been on pay-per-view. Can you imagine if you paid for that fight, how pissed off you would be? Imagine going to Madison Square Garden, planning a trip around it. I'm sure someone flew into New York to watch this. Someone that thought Amir Khan had a chance. And you pay for a ticket and the guy quits. Come on. It's just not a good thing. So I think that's bad for boxing all around. Again, it's just all about money. You got these shady individuals photobombing in the background, these extras standing in the ring. They have no business to mug in for the camera. And I talked to someone in the boxing business, a promoter, someone that knew someone that was a promoter, not a big promoter like Don King, but they said these guys actually have it in their contracts where they're hangers on and they get to stand in the ring and just mug in the background. Might as well give the mic to them. Might as well just give the mic because they want to talk so bad. They are just taking the fighter's shine away. It's disgusting. It's absurd too. They should not have any business being in the ring. It should be the trainers and that's it. And you got these guys, these extras in the background. They're just every fight. They're just standing there mugging away, trying to get in that camera. They couldn't give a damn if the fighter got hurt. They couldn't give a damn if the fighter that they helped out or had a part in their promotion is going to the hospital. They just want to run over to the other guy when the camera's there and get in the background, biting their bottom lip. You ain't nobody. You're just an extra in the background. Nobody cares. You got no talent. You people are just in there riding off the coattails of the guys who are risking their lives in the ring. I don't like that at all. It's different if you're like a big promoter like Bob Arum. He does it differently. He doesn't stand in the ring after every fight, got to be mugging for the camera like that. You just go about your business in a dignified way. And what I see is just awful things taking place behind the scenes, off the fighters' backs, at the expense of the fighter. Excuse me. Now, the only person really speaking out against any of this stuff would be Teddy Atlas. You got to give props to Teddy Atlas because I did hear Teddy Atlas talk about this. I would watch a lot of ESPN Friday Night Fights. He did say what I'm saying in his own way, and he is just an honest, good person for boxing, and he tells it like it is, and it's very rare to see that nowadays because you got guys that just want to say certain things so they could stay employed, I guess. It's just crazy what goes on in boxing. But anyway, let's get on to the news here. Let me just talk frankly about what I see going on here. Okay, now what I'm seeing in the headlines here is that, so Ortiz versus Joshua was actually on the table. Joshua is a heavyweight, another heavyweight. There should only be one title. So Luis Ortiz was gonna possibly have an opportunity to fight with Joshua. I'm reading here because I just read, I'm disgusted. Eddie Hearn discusses Chiramel. Eddie Hearn, he's a smart businessman, isn't he? He knows how to make money in boxing. So if I was Eddie Hearn, I would try to keep any of the top guys away from my guy for a long time. And that's sad, right? You want to keep Tyson Fury away from Joshua as long as possible, because you want to milk Joshua for a long time to keep the millions rolling in, because once he gets beat, everything goes down. It's like a stock. You get bad earnings call on a stock. Say if you have a stock and then the earnings call comes in and it's not doing as high, as well as expected, everybody starts selling their stock and it drops. By the way, that's when you should buy. But anyway, that's what's going on with Eddie Hearn promoting, and a lot of these other fighters, not just Eddie Hearn, a lot of these promoters with their guy. So Joshua's undefeated, looking good. But if he fights someone like, let's say, Deontay Wilder, yeah, no kidding, like he should be fighting him. And then all of a sudden, your boy Deontay Wilder, who I love, by the way, I'm a fan, lands a vicious shot clean and Joshua gets knocked out. There's no more big sales now. Everyone's going to pull out. All the stock is going to drop on Joshua. So why would a promoter like Eddie Hearn want to fight Deontay Wilder anytime soon while Joshua is still arguably young and has a couple more $1 million paydays in him? It's simple. That's why you're not seeing these big fights manifest themselves. That's why you're not seeing Fury versus Joshua and or Wilder. Because they're going to milk this guy, because they're not sure that he's going to beat top guys. And Ortiz is a major threat for Joshua, even at the age of 40-something years old. There's a lot of people saying that he's older. Luis Ortiz ducks Anthony Joshua, rejects multiple. Okay, that's what I'm reading here. But I think personally, it's at the age, he's past his prime. I don't think that Joshua should honestly be fighting those guys, but Ortiz is an attractive fight for him. At this stage of the game, he's a threat, but I think I would favor Joshua in that fight based on what I've seen out of Ortiz. Has been finished by Deontay Wilder. He just doesn't have it in him, in my opinion, even though he looked kind of good before. So there's just a lot of guys talking boxing that really don't know boxing. They really don't have a track record on boxing. It's, you know, it's all about getting that attention, which is nothing wrong with it, getting clicks and views on empty stuff. There's no substance there, in my opinion, with a lot of these people talking boxing. I clicked around, I looked at a couple of guys like 2 months ago. I was like, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. You could just tell. And then you just go back. What they do is they rehash the obvious, stating the obvious. But I believe I'm giving you a quality opinion. Like I said, if you want to go back, you look at what I said about Mayweather Pacquiao. Big fan of Pacquiao on his channel over the years, supporting Pacquiao. But I told the truth. I said it's going to be an anticlimactic fight before the fight ever took place. I said it's too late. I said Mayweather's going to beat him. Mayweather's the ring general, and it's going to be boring. And it's exactly what took place in the fight. So I believe, some type of insight on the sport of boxing, quality insight, where you could actually pay attention to me. And in a lot of cases, I believe that my opinion is going to be validated, actually what takes place in the ring. And let me just fast forward to Errol Spence Jr. Spence versus Crawford is the fight. I mean, that's the super fight. That's the Hagler Hearns. That's everything. That's the fight where that's the real super fight right now, unless they really drag it out. And then we just don't see it happen until they're old. Like Mayweather Pacquiao. Like they're going to wait till they're 33 years old, 34 years old, 35, and just drag it out. Come on. So that's a fight where I'm really confused. When I know there's a really good fight is when I have a problem picking that fight. Because most of the fights are really obvious for me. Not all the time, but for the most part. Like I told you a couple videos ago, love Mikey Garcia. He's going up in weight. He's fighting Spence. I said I love the guy, but he's not going to win. I told you that before the fight took place. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20. So I have a problem. I'd really have to think about who's going to win. Right now, if they were fighting this Saturday, Spence versus Crawford, I'm not going to release what I think now, but I have a favorite. I think I'm edging towards one guy and it's going to be a fantastic, amazing fight if they fight anytime soon. So what else is going on in boxing? By the way, I just love those fights. I got to say it again. When I don't really know when a fighter's going to win, who's going to win that fight? Damn, that's going to be tough. That's when I know it's going to be a great fight. Anthony Joshua, Ortiz, who's going to replace him? This Miller guy? I don't know. It's just, all I see is tune-ups. I just see protection of Joshua for the big ones. They're going to drag it out. That's what they're going to do. As a businessman, that's what you want to do, right? It makes sense. See, boxing stinks now because I'm telling you, there's too many titles. The UFC has that one title. Sometimes someone gets injured, they have an interim champion, but it should be only one belt. When is that going to change? How did this happen? How did boxing fans allow this to happen? We have no say. How did this happen where there's, hey, I'm the champion. No, I'm the champion. I'm the champion. There's that one belt that goes back. But come on, this is just disgusting. There should only be one title. Like, Tyson Fury is the guy, right? He had the belt before he quit boxing. He had problems. And now these belts are just everywhere. They're all over the place. It's really frustrating. It's really confusing to someone that follows boxing. So I just look at a guy, I'm like, that's the real champion. But all these other belts, it involves money, it involves power, it involves politics, and it needs to be regulated. The sport is just really corrupt. It's the wild, wild west, and it's not cool. So I want to talk about, I think it's the Fox guys real quick. I think it's the PBC on Fox. I really like Joe Guzman. Always liked him as a trainer. I think he does a fantastic job. I love when I'm really warming up to him. I actually like that guy. If you ever watched Corrales versus Castillo, what a fight. Amazing fight. Joe Guzman is the funniest guy. He stalled. He got Corrales to put the mouthpiece in, and he's like, you better go kick his butt or whatever. He said something to him in the corner. He is just hilarious. I love, he's kind of like, he's one of the honest guys. He just speaks his mind, and it's really good to see him ringside. I think the sport, I know I'm kind of all over the place. I'm just talking boxing. I think the sport is really taking a blow in the U.S. anyway, because Jim Lampley, if there was an Academy Award for the best commentator ever, he'd be one of the, he'd have to get that. He is just, I would love to see someone hire him outside of HBO. I know he's producing and stuff, but I just think there's a major loss to boxing without him ringside calling the fights live. I mean, he's still able to do it. He's still young enough. He's just fantastic. Not everybody's perfect. A lot of people said he would over-exaggerate and he would he'd be in for one guy to win. But still, he was just magnificent on the MIC. Jim Lampley, I wish he would get involved with the PBC or something, some type of ESPN. Someone needs to hire him to call the fights live and give him an offer he cannot refuse, because I think boxing would only benefit from it. There's nothing that excited me more than high drama Jim Lampley being ringside, calling those fights live. I mean, he was something else, and I'm going to miss that man. Damn, he was awesome. Dude, calling the fights, just nobody else that I ever heard in my life was that good. During my era of boxing, watching boxing, Jim Lampley still got it. He could still go out there and do it. I really hope to see him show up someplace. I wish they would show him. I wish somebody would hire him and give him a deal. So anyway, boxing's really frustrating. I have a love-hate relationship with watching this sport. I'm a true fan. I've invested thousands into watching boxing over the years for just the pay-per-views, just everything. And now to see where it's going is really frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Because when you're selling me Amir versus Crawford, that's a smack in my face as a pay-per-view. Really awful. So I see a lot of guys reacting. My reaction to Joshua, my reaction to this, my reaction to that. Anyway, I just hope I give you guys some type of insight on boxing from a different angle. I don't really know what these other people are talking about. So I tend to stay away from that, actually. That's why I just put Google on right now, because I like to give it like the way I started this whole channel, talking about boxing, give my real thoughts. Like I said, I believe my thoughts hold some type of weight because I have prediction streaks that go on and on and on. I displayed on this channel more than once. I got over 10. I won 2 Showtime contests on prediction streaks because my streaks would go over 10. And I showed it on screen if anyone doubted me. So I just think boxing, there's so much that needs to be fixed. Starting with, it should be regulated. And the mistreatment of the fighters that I see is just legendary. It's going to just keep happening. And I don't know. Hopefully things are getting better because, like I said, there's so many platforms now showing the fights. And I just hope they phase pay-per-views out. I like that new network, DNZ, whatever it's called, Danzig. I like the idea of paying $10 or $20, preferably $10 a month for a platform that's going to show boxing, but it's kind of all over the place, so it's not quite there yet. Because if you got a guy on one, let's just say A, on that network A, and they sign Canelo, and they sign GGG, and then you have B signing these other fighters, and then you have promotional problems where they got to come together like HBO did with Showtime back in the day when Lennox Lewis and Showtime, they come together and they make a mega event. So it's kind of like all over the place still. And the best thing is to have these fights on like CBS, on Fox, so we can all watch them and not have like, oh, Canelo cannot fight on Fox now because he signed to some app now. See, it's all over the place. Damn. It's just so frustrating, you know? So there's going to be a lot of hurdles now for super fights to take place. There's going to be a lot of issues with promotional issues, and then network issues, and then platform issues. Let's say Netflix did sports, and then they signed Joshua. You know, this is just so you understand. Let's use names like Netflix. And then Netflix Sports signs Joshua, and now you have, let's say CBS has Deontay Wilder, and they can't fight now because one is on another platform and one is on another network. It stinks. It's all over the place. I just want these fights now. I don't want to see Joshua and Wilder when Wilder's 35 and it phase, 36, and maybe he's been knocked out already. I don't want to see that. I want to see guys at their prime or at the height of their career fight each other like now. We want to see that now. But it's kind of like a fantasy at this point. We're lucky we saw Deontay Wilder fight Tyson Fury. We're lucky that was a gift. That's rare. So anyway, I'll be back, I guess. Peace, guys. I'm out. Yeah, I'm trying to close this video out. I don't think I'm going to edit this at all. Uh-oh. Was I recording the video? Oh, no. Yes, I was. Peace, guys.